disrupted.
America that I fought. Weird thing to happen.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. It's been a fantastic day so far. So take a look at this. As we're talking about carbon pricing and how on April 1st, April Fool's Day, I'm not kidding you, the carbon tax is about to triple and cost of living is already skyrocketing. Inflation's already a problematic situation. And in April Fool's joke fashion from the government, things are going to cost a lot more here in Canada. So that brought to this attention here. This is from Wiretap Media. And they stated that the government's carbon tax is a pool of taxpayer capital to attract investments. And Canada's climate crisis is an emotional smokescreen to usher in corporate fascism. In 2016, pretend Finance Minister Chyrstia Freeland collaborated with the World Economic Forum and the World Bank to create the governance platform without consulting with Canadians or getting Parliament's approval. The I don't know why I can't say that. The convergence platform, or blended finances, is the augmentation of public and philanthropic capital to increase private sector investments in sustainable development and green energy projects. And hidden behind a government paywall is a members-only ultra-elite club of investors working with Canadian government to meet Canada's SDG target. So it's reasonable to suspect the government's air tax is the player pool to attract those investors. But more importantly, Canadians are being marched into this fascism corporate state because now they are investors instead of shareholders in public infrastructure, which is not only undemocratic, but could be used to be a threat to national security. And here's Chyrstia Freeland openly stating that two members of Parliament after doing this scam behind closed doors.
And the final thing I want to say about a price on pollution is this is about doing the right thing for the environment, for sure, but having a climate plan is also essential in 2024 to having an economic plan.
It's a small C conservative policy. It gives money back. And it's part of how we're going to attract investment to our country because we're in a race with Americans and the rest of the world. And we're fighting a competition with the US, Europe and China to attract investments.
And I am pleased to announce, and this is the first time we're announcing it, that we have all come together, Canada, with support from the private sector, with support from the OECD, with support from the World Economic Forum, with support from the World Bank, to launch a brand new platform. It is called Convergence, and this is a platform that is designed to bring together public, private, and philanthropic sectors to give them more transparency about what each other are doing, to invest and to give them a simplified route of vetting projects, to invest together in emerging markets projects.
Isn't that great? Transparency. We're going to just be more transparent. Should be a great thing. You know, like Bill Gates, the world's richest asshole, buying up all the farmland to then wipe out the agricultural sector, organic food, to create synthetics. Or inject livestock with the COVID vaccine, the mRNA technology, which is safe and effective. Inject it into livestock so that either way you're going to get a bit of a jab. Yes, it's such great work that we're involving the public and then the private sector and philanthropists. It's just so great. This is not just climate. This is everything. Which is why we have the great partners involved with this. The World Economic Forum, the World Bank, because they really have the best interest for ordinary people at heart. The billionaire elite class that sits around a pool of poor people's blood. I'm joking, obviously, but you know, you get the picture. So now you kind of understand this whole thing. Now, the further this goes, and this is why I stated beforehand, in regards to, Justin Trudeau and all these policies, it seems more of a directive from a more authoritarian source than just Justin Trudeau being Justin Trudeau. Like, this goes beyond farther than just one particular person or one cabinet member or one political party in Canada, because this is being implemented all around the world. This is implemented at the same time we're doing it in Canada. They're trying to do it in Australia. They're trying to do it in the UK. They're trying to do it in other nations. They're trying to do it in the United States. They're trying to do it everywhere. So it seems more of a global-wide initiative of their part to capture the democratic process here in our nation and just enforce this in an authoritarian way to our governments, and then our governments are enforcing it onto us. That, a carton of eggs could cost you, $12, $13 in order for Chyrstia Freeland and Justin Trudeau to travel around to tell you how bad the earth is and let out more emissions. And I just want to reiterate to people that in all the talks about climate, and this is not a discussion on whether climate change is real or not. Either way, the way we're trying to solve it, the people that we're looking up to solving it, is absolutely disastrous. We're looking at people like Al Gore and Bill Gates and the WEF to solve a problematic situation, mostly involving them, mostly them being the cause of it. And we're demonizing farmers. We're demonizing naturalists. We're demonizing ordinary people for their just living a normal life. And we're doing the exact opposite, pretty much, of the natural order. It just seems like a crazy, chaotic thing. And it seems like the climate crisis, regardless of how you feel about it, is being hijacked by the global power elite, the corrupted power elite, which, if you saw Michael Moore's latest documentary on green energy and how it's been taken over by the billionaire class, it kind of eliminates that. But here's also, on the subject of that, none of this ever gets addressed. None of this ever gets addressed when it comes to emissions, climate, how are we going to reduce our pollution rate? Here's just a fun fact idea. How about we reduce military occupation? And that's coming from the Atlantic, ladies and gentlemen. The Atlantic, that is very pro-war, very pro-interventionist, very pro, world police state. The Atlantic's even saying that the military emissions are too big to keep ignoring. So while we're charging triple for everyday Canadians to perform basic errands and mundane tasks, we are sending millions, upwards to billions of dollars more all around the world to bomb, eradicate, or police other countries. And it causes way more pollution, way more emission rates than anyone could ever do in a lifetime. Any ordinary family member could do in a lifetime. So why is that not a big, huge issue? And that would actually be more of a cost-efficient issue. Because if we reduce the military expenditure and all the military bases, then that could go towards actually infrastructure, and then we wouldn't have to tax so many people and try to raise the money to make the planet better. It's just a humding of an idea, just coming from me, some simple podcaster, but hey, when you put 2 and 2 together, it might equal 4. Just saying. Or how about this? And this is kind of hilarious, that in all the talks about him being Mr. Pro-Green, Mr. Environmentalist, Mr. I want to care for the future of children, Why are we not condemning him for his air travel? This is from the National Post. Trudeau's free Jamaican vacation, the one he just took recently, his free Jamaican vacation still cost taxpayers $230,000. His free vacation cost us the most money. Government documents revealed the vacation bill came to $230,442 in comparison and similar journey to 2022 when it came to $162,000. How about you cut back on your vacations there? Because I'm pretty sure those private jets are not emitting, sunshines and rainbows. I'm pretty sure that's part of the problem. And also your good buddy Chyrstia Freeland that's also traveling around the world. Maybe that should be something to focus on, instead of putting the burden onto ordinary people that have already suffered. They're already suffering. Mass high inflation, mass high cost of living, barely can make ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck, putting food on the table, affording to, raise their kids, put a roof over all their heads. And yet here we are debating and arguing on how much we should, us, pay the cost of people like them to pollute the airways. And I'm just saying that they tried to do this in France. They tried to do a similar tax to what we're doing here. And that's what started the Yellow Vest movement. That's what France, that was the moment when the nation shut down and people got so angry, so rallied up, that really caused a lot of change. And I hope somewhere out there that people are waking up to this. And come April 1st, if you don't wake up to this, you're definitely going to be woken to how much this is really going to affect you. How much the cost of living in Canada is going to be such a burden that's going to be too hard to not ignore. Too hard to just bypass it. And how this is all just, again, whether you agree with climate change or not, whether you agree with whatever the take is, this is not the solution to do it. This is not the way to do it. You can't tax your way out of making things better for the planet and better for sustainability of nature. First, you got to maybe understand a bit of nature and go from there.